Hi, and thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about signal transduction pathways in plants, everything from what they are, how they work, and what's an example of one. So, before we begin, here are some important words to keep in mind while I'm explaining how a signal transduction pathway works. A signal transduction pathway can be very detailed, and having these words in the back of your mind will really help when understanding how it all flows. So, what exactly is a repressor? A repressor is a protein that binds DNA at an operator site and thereby prevents transcription of one or more adjacent genes. So as you can tell by the diagram, the repressor are these blue-looking balls right here, and they're right next to the RNA polymerase. A receptor is a specialized cell or group of nerve endings that respond to sensory stimuli. So the receptor is basically this pink claw-looking like thing, and it basically sits on the outside of the cell and waits for these ligands, these yellow primary messengers, to attach to it. So then those ligands are going to change the shape of the receptor and then go into the cell to initiate these secondary messengers, and then those secondary messengers can activate the signal transduction. So, what is a meristem? A meristem is a region of plant tissue found chiefly growing at the tops or the roots of the shoot. So the shoot is basically the top part of the plant right here, and the root apical meristem is the roots way here at the bottom. And then the lateral meristem is just right in the middle between the plant. So what exactly is a signal transduction pathway? It's a set of chemical reactions in a cell that occurs when a molecule such as a hormone attaches to a receptor on a cell membrane. So, like we learned earlier before, it begins with a primary messenger to then attach to the receptor to change its shape. Now, in dealing with a plant, a ligand that starts the activation would be light. Light activates the phytochrome, changes the shape of the receptor, and then that way can enter the cell. Now, keep in mind there are 3 steps to a signal transduction pathway: reception, transduction, and response. Now, reception is what I just went over, how the receptor changed its shape and now is inside the cell. So, now it moves into transduction. 2 things can happen. 2 proteins are now activated. It is cGMP or the calcium ion channel opens. Now, when those 2 proteins are open, it's going to activate these 2 kinases that are up here. Now it can move into the response step. So, during a response, two responses can happen. Number 1, it can just regulate proteins and activate them. Or 2, it can regulate transcription genes, which basically are specific genes that are activated to tell specific transcription factors to turn DNA into mRNA, and then have that mRNA leave the cell to be transcribed into a protein to activate inside the cell. So, just like I explained, the kinases will enter the nucleus. These proteins will be transcribed, translated, and then activated into the cell. So, what's an example of a signal transduction pathway? An auxin hormone is a great example because an auxin hormone promotes and regulates the growth and development of plants. Auxins are produced in the meristem of shoot tips, and they move down the plant, causing various effects. So as you can see in the diagram, the auxin hormone will be created in the shoot part, travel down the plant into the roots for various effects, whether that's creating the root to move left or right to go towards light, or just allowing it to grow deeper into the soil. So now let's put it all together. How does the auxin hormone work within a signal transduction pathway? So just like we saw on the last picture, the hormone is basically the ligand, and it's going to bind to the receptor, which is right here on the outside of the cell, change its shape, and then go inside the cell where it's going to activate the secondary messengers, which then those messengers are going to activate cellular responses. And then over here in this diagram, it's just an even more specific, detailed diagram of what's going on right here. So now after those activated cellular responses are activated, they can go throughout the plant and allow it to do many different things. And looks like we covered it all, and now I hope you have a better understanding of what a signal transduction pathway is, how it works, and what's an example of one. Thanks for watching.